Have you ever told yourself that all I need was a little 10-minute nap, and then that nap turned into 5 hours later? You wake up feeling just a little bit guilty because you had a whole list of things to do. You want to check off everything off your list on this particular day, and it just didn't happen for you. Has that ever happened to you? Just wanted a little nap. I want to hear from you in the comments. When is the last time you told yourself, just need 5, 10, or maybe even a 20-minute nap? Whatever gives you that energy throughout the day. But yet, you went straight off dreaming and the nap turned into a whole day event. I want to hear from you in the comments. Well, this is something that happened to me last Sunday. My son knocked on my door and he wanted me to take him to the airport. 15 minutes. Mom, we got 15 minutes. Let's go get out the door. Now, I knew I would be taking him to the airport, but he told me he would let me know early on. So I didn't think nothing of it until 15 minutes before it's time to leave. He's knocking on my door. He needs to go to the airport. So I didn't mind at all. It was about 8:45. And I usually on the weekend, I might wake up anywhere between 8 and 9. That's my sleep-in time frame pretty much for the weekend. So I was good. And I felt like him knocking on my door was a jump start to my day because I had a laundry list of things that I wanted to get done on this particular day. So I took him to the airport, dropped him off. I came back home. I started to fold some clothes. And as I'm folding the clothes, I'm like, ooh, I feel sleepy. It's like I couldn't shake off feeling sleepy. So I told myself, let me take about a 10-minute nap and then I'll, be refreshed, energized, and I continue on with my day. Now, typically, if I decide to take like a 10-minute nap or something, I'll set my alarm. But this particular day, I did not set my alarm and I just fell asleep. And it was about 5, 6 o'clock that evening, and I woke up and I'm like, I did feel a little guilty. Like, man, I just wasted a whole day just sleeping. But after a while, I just realized my body really needed that. I've been running the hustle and bustle all throughout the week, and it is something that I really needed. Your body is going to let you know when it's time for you to rest. If you don't rest on your own, it's going to shut down on you. But we've got to avoid that of your body shutting down, and we need to be proactive with our health and taking care of ourselves. So when we're out there traveling and doing that slow traveling during our early retirement, we need to take care of our health because it is hard living in an environment, a hustle and bustle environment, and it's hard to slow down. I mean, I've been on this journey of trying to slow down for about a year and a half now when I started my meditation class, and I find myself getting trapped right back into that hustle and bustle. This has to be done. This person needs you. You're working more hours still, and it goes on and on because you're in that type of an environment. So I want to continue on with practicing, planning into my early retirement to slow down. And it's going to take time. It is not something that's going to happen overnight, that we're just going to wake up and say, we're going to do it this way. We're going to start sleeping more often. We're going to go to bed on time. We're going to wake up and do meditation at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We have all these expectations of ourselves, of what we should be doing, but we've got to break some habits. So we got to continue to practice sleep practices throughout our journey as well. That is something we cannot forget about, is how we sleep, how we rest. As I continue to plan my retirement, my early retirement, I do want to make an extra effort with adding some rest in there. So that's why I wanted to do this video today. I wanted to share, just some tips on how we could rest more. In this video, I want to share with you 5 tips on how we can continue our rest practices and just keep that top of mind. We've got to keep, that's why I want to do these videos. It's a reminder. It's a reminder for me, and I hope that it will remind you of you that we are worth it. We are worth taking some time out to rest for ourselves. So in this video, I want to share with you 5 tips on how to rest right into your early retirement. So let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Just Lovely Living. My name is Tanya, and on this channel, I am sharing with you my journey towards early retirement. And my hope is that I can inspire other women who are over the age of 50 to leave their 9 to 5 and start doing some meaningful, intentional, slow traveling and start thinking about some early retirement. Now, with some strategic planning, because we must plan, we can't just up and get out there and say we're retired. So with some strategic planning and practical tools, and with a supportive community that we are building right here on this channel, we are still a small community, but with your help, I would love to grow this community for us to share with how we are planning our early retirement. And those of you who are currently in retirement and you are doing it day in and day out, I would love to hear from you as well. Share with us, mentor us in how we can improve our journey towards early retirement. So as I was on my journey, searching through videos, trying to find a video to help me with my rest practices, I ran into a video that had nothing to do with rest. But there was a guest speaker, and she said something that reminded me of my why I wanted to early retire in the first place. So let me get the name of the video. So the video was called "Why Working Harder is Keeping You Stuck." And it was from the channel The Vault Empowers. And that's a channel that's hosted by Brandy Harvey. Her guest speaker was Deethra Giles. And she said something that was powerful. Working harder is the biggest trap for man. If you work harder, you're going to die. And that statement, I was really focused on that statement because that is the reason why I have decided to retire early. I don't want to be that person where I am working all the way up until my last days. And where did I live? Where did I get the opportunity to live if I don't take that time for myself instead of using up all my time right now for somebody else's priorities for that 9 to 5? So it just reminded me of my why. And then I also thought about, I don't know if y'all remember that story where the lady, she went to work and she passed away at her desk. And nobody realized that she was no longer living here with us for like 4 or 5 days. Nobody knew that. I think it happened in Arizona. I believe was at a Wells Fargo office area. And the lady was at her desk. She passed away and nobody knew it for like 4 days. She was 60 years old. That I can't imagine that. I can't imagine all this time of giving to someone else. And here, this woman, she passes away at the job and nobody noticed. Come on, we got to do better. We got to do better for ourselves. With stories like this that remind me of the reason why I want to early retire. Now, with all this planning of early retirement, we also need to think about our health. That is included in our plan. So I want to share with you five ways, 5 tips to rest your way right into early retirement. Because it is going to take us time to settle down. Now, you know, When you go on vacation, whether it's for 4, 5, 7 day vacation. When you come back home, you need a vacation from your vacation, right? You really don't get any real rest on vacation. That's why I want to do slow travel. Slow travel is going to give me that time in the beginning to settle my body down, to get used to the time zone. I'm not rushing to go out there to see all the sights in the beginning, and just really to slow down. So if I'm at a location for 2, 3 months at a time, that truly gives me that time to rest in the beginning, right? Um, so let's get into these 5 tips. Um, Number one is to schedule rest like it's an appointment, right? So you've got to learn your body, that clock, right? I know, although I pretty much start my work day between 8 and 9 throughout the week, but my body really doesn't wake up until about 10. Like that energy starts to kick in around 10 a.m. And then you'll begin to learn, when you keep track of it, when your body is starting to feel tired or you're feeling sleepy. It's like start taking note of that and put it on your schedule. If you need a 10-minute break, or most jobs, depending on what type of job you have, they'll give you 15-minute break in the morning, 15-minute break in the afternoon. Take that time, go to your car and turn on your alarm for sure and take you a little nap if that's what you need throughout the day. But put it on your schedule, because when your body kind of starts to needs more energy throughout the day, put it on your calendar, right? And it's easier for those that get those breaks, because I'm a salary employee, I make my own schedule. I'm going to have to force myself to take those breaks throughout the day, because normally I don't. I will work the whole day, barely taking a lunch and not really taking a break. Even though you're a salary employee, you need to break as well. So schedule it. So that was number one. Number two is stop treating rest like a reward, right? We deserve rest, right? That will take away that guilt, right? Oh, I only need to rest if I completed everything that I needed to get done. But in order to complete everything that you need to get done, sometimes we need that moment to rest first. It's like we have it backwards. We really do. So sleep is nothing that you earn. It is something that you truly need. You need that rest. So we need to start practicing rest. Add that a part of our routine. Number 3, create small daily pauses, right? 5 minutes of silence, take it all in. This part of my meditation practice. Take some moments to just stop. That's going to settle down your nervous system when you just have to pause for 5, 10 minutes a day. Okay? Take a quiet walk. Get away from your desk environment, whether it's during your lunch break or something, and go walk. Be a part of nature. Deep breathing. Now, there's time where we deep breathing out of frustration, but we need to make those breathing exercise intentional. Until you start feeling that calmness in your body. Take those moments throughout the day to breathe. To regulate your nervous system. Not that you huffing and puffing because you tired or something, right? We tend to do that throughout the day. And we say we're breathing. That's called exhaustion, right? So we want to take those moments to pause. Learn to say no. Every yes is not energy. And I do find myself doing this a little bit more. Although I go for meditation classes once a week, and then I volunteer for the level 1 class. So I have to travel about, with traffic, it's about a 45-minute drive for me to go to this meditation class. So sometimes I got to say no. So this past, my last Wednesday volunteer day, I had to send in a text to the group and said I won't be able to make it because I wanted to go to a session about retirement. So sometimes you have to say no for someone else to do something for yourself. And it's not for us to feel guilty about it either. Sometimes we just have to say no. Okay. Number 5 is listen to your body. If you're always tired, that's a message. It's not weakness, it's your own wisdom. And that's something that we've learned. That's something that I've learned in my meditation class. It's about wisdom, right? Wisdom of knowing the right directions to go in. You know, don't always be on task all the time, but knowing your body, knowing when to stop, knowing when to shift to do something else, knowing when it's time to start exercising because now your joints are getting stiff, and not ignoring those signs. I am down to the last days of my physical therapy because of my knee. It was bothering me all the way back from my trip in August, September when I went to Taiwan. We walked so much. My knees were swollen during that time. And then I finally got into physical therapy. And it's something that I needed, right? So sometimes you got to listen to your body and don't always say, I'm going to push through it, right? Pushing through it is not going to do it all the time. Sometimes you need to go see a professional, whether it's your mental health, your physical health. We've got to pause and take heed to the signs. All right, so let's just recap on the five tips to rest your way into early retirement. The first one is schedule rest like it is an appointment. Stop treating rest like a reward. You do deserve the rest. Your body needs the rest. It's something that you need. It's not a want. It is a need. Create small daily pauses to breathe in, to breathe out throughout the day. These tiny things matter. Little things along the way, they do matter. Learn how to say no. Not everything deserves a yes. You don't have to go to every outing. You don't have to volunteer for every event. You don't need to be in church every day of the week. You need to also take care of you. You're not going to be any good for someone else if you don't take care of yourself. Listen to your body. When you start to feel those aches and pains, we need to do something about it. Because when we're out here traveling and walking the streets overseas, we need to have that energy to do that. So let's work on it now so we don't have to suffer later, right? So those are our 5 steps. So let's slow down now. Let's reset now. Let's start practicing to rest now, because we don't want to get to a point where our body shuts down on us and we can't do anything about it. So let's start practicing now those rest habits. So now I want to hear from you again in the comments. When was the last time you truly had some real rest? You didn't do anything. You didn't do any chores around the house. You took some time out to rest. And how long did you rest for? Not just when, but I want to know, how long did you rest? Did you take the whole day, a couple of hours? All of that counts. I want to hear from you in the comments. So I don't want you to feel guilty about your rest. Rest is preparing you for your future early retirement, your retirement. It is preparation. It is not saying that you're quitting on yourself. It is definitely not saying that you're lazy, because rest is something that you need. So I want to thank all of my subscribers for watching my videos and returning back to watch this one. To all of my new subscribers, thank you for joining me. I love your support. Thank you for being here and joining the community. If you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? I would love for you to come and join us. Be a part of this community. If you've already retired, I would love for you to be a part of this community too, so you can share some of your advice with us in the comments as well. If you know of somebody who needs to be resting, that is past exhaustion in their life, share this video with them so they can get these tips as well. We got to start somewhere. It's the little things that we do that can help us go a long way. Now, if you're someone that has a hard time just getting started with your planning, your future goals, I do have a free resource for you, 5 simple steps to starting a goal. It's just a fun, interactive workbook. You'll be able to fill in the blanks. There is an audio to go along with it to keep you interactive in the activities there. You know, it really starts with making a decision in your mind, right? It's mind over matter to even start something. I always have that theory to practice before you get started. By practicing something, eventually it will generate a habit. So this little workbook will help you get started. All of the information will be in the comments down below, and it is a free resource for you to download that information to get you started on your planning towards your early retirement. So I thank you all for being here. I thank you for sharing, liking. I hope that you will subscribe so that we can build this community together. Thank you all and have a lovely day.